Okay, so today we have lecture number 8, and today we will discuss purpose of SDK for Android, purpose of SDK for iOS, and components of Android. So SDK means software development kit. So for both Android and for iOS, we have to understand the components and their purpose and their working, how they work, and why we need these. Okay, so LO3 be able to develop a mobile application. So in the assessment criteria 3.1, we have explained the purpose of using a software development kit. So we have to explain the purpose of software development kit SDK and its indicative content in tools from the outline, which is SDKs. SDKs included Android SDK and Android Studio and iOS SDK. Okay, so Android SDK will be in the Android Studio and then iOS SDK. So we are going to develop the application on Android Studio. So we will focus more on the Android SDK. Okay, so first of all, SDK stands for Software Development Kit, and it is often called a dev kit. And SDK is used by developers to create applications. The SDK contains a library of information, programs, and tools, including code samples, libraries, documentation, processes, and guides that help developers to create a software application for use on a specific platform, system, or programming language. Okay, so first of all, SDK, what is SDK? We call it software development. Okay, so in the SDKs, we have the information about libraries, what libraries will be used, then programs, okay, and tools, including code samples. Code sample means we have different code samples, okay, which we can use to in the development of our application, okay, and we can use those code samples. Then libraries, okay, libraries are different libraries through which we can use different functions within the program, so that it makes us work easier. Then documentation means like whatever the things we add, it's written document available, so that we can check what is this code for, or what is this component is used for, and we can understand it about we can understand through it documentation. Then different processes like activity, actions within the program, and guides that help the developers to create a software application for use on a specific platform. So for use on a specific platform is like we can use it either on Android platform or iOS platform or BlackBerry platform. Okay, so different platforms, different applications can be used on different platforms or systems or programming languages. So good SDKs provide developers with a toolkit, everything they need to get their product to market quickly and efficiently. Okay, so in the SDKs, it provides us a tools, like there are different tools, like for example, we have the buttons, okay, text boxes, okay, we can drag and drop them in the environment of the application, and then we can add different properties, and then we can design the interface. Okay, so almost every piece of software user interact with, from web browsers to video games, was built on an SDK. Okay, so different users, all the users, software users use those SDKs options, those SDK tools, whether they are web browser, okay, or video games, are also built on SDK. Okay, so many SDKs also include APIs, application programming interfaces, which can be used as building blocks within the toolkit provided by the SDK. APIs allows different applications to communicate with each other. Okay, next is, what is a software development kit? An SDK dev kit or software development kit is a program designed by manufacturer of operating system, hardware platforms, programming languages, software or applications. It provides developers with a set of tools that help them build apps for efficiently and effectively. Okay, so SDK dev kit are the SDK or dev kit are the software development kits, uh, which is designed by different manufacturers of operating systems and hardware platforms, so that we can have different environment like development environment, so that we can design the application for different platforms. Okay, so it provides a set of tools that help build apps more efficiently and effectively. So an SDK can accompany a hardware or digital software to help developers create new apps that can integrate with existing programs or apps. It can also help user to better navigate these products. Okay, so uh, these SDK have the hardware and digital software, and they help the developers so that they can create new application, or they can integrate the existing application or programs with other application. Okay, so it's better to it helps users to better navigate these products. Then we have SDK design for use within a specific system on a certain operating system or with a specific programming languages. For example, to build an iOS app, we need an iOS SDK. For an Android app, we need an Android SDK. Okay, so the SDK is platform specific. So here we have the different SDKs example, like they are designed for specific operating system. Android SDK for Android operating system, Android platforms, and iOS SDK for iOS platform. As the SDK is platform means like they are platform specific, like which SDK is built for the specific platform. It will work only for that platform. Okay, so do you have any question in this slide?
No, miss.
Next, we have an SDK contains a variety of components to help with application creation, providing a framework to work within. The SDK will typically include the following. Okay, so it have a lot of tools and components which help the application creation. Okay, so a complete interface is available through SDK for the development of the application. So, what are the different things which can be included in the SDKs, which are libraries, documentation, compiler, APIs, okay, drivers, code samples, network protocols, editors, testing and analyst tools, runtime development environments, processes, and guides. Okay, so libraries, there are different libraries which can use, like for example, maybe you have seen in programming, mostly when we do coding in C++, we use hash in IOStream library. Okay, so these type of libraries are included in the SDKs so that we can work efficiently. Like there are different code samples we can which are also available, and we can include them. They make our work easier. So we don't need to write a lot of code in our application. We just import those code samples, those libraries, and then we can use them within the application. Okay, so these are the different components which can include in the Android SDK, and we can use them while developing the application, and it helps us in making the our application development easier. Okay, so what are the different qualities of SDK? So mobile SDKs are meant to be used outside of just the organization it's built within. Therefore, it needs to provide specific value to other businesses and developers. Okay, so good SDK provides all the tools a developer will need to create a new application for a specific product on a certain platform or within the spotted ecosystem. So good SDK means like it provides tools for developer. If any developer is going to make application for a specific product, a specific product means for any business. Like for example, we can say we have the Zoom application. Okay, we also have the web version of Zoom, and we also have the Zoom application we can install in our mobile and we can use. So it's for a specific platform, like we can use it on the Android phones, or we can use on the iOS phone. So it provides good SDK provides us the tools so that developers can create the application for a certain type of product or certain type of system which can be supported by the application, and application can run on those systems. They can also include a basic test project or example, allowing a quick start for developers. Okay, so a good SDK should have the following traits: be easy to use by developers. Okay, it should be like easy one so that the developers can easily understand and easily use. Provide enough functionality to add value to other apps. Okay, so work well with other SDKs. Include thorough documentation on how the code works. Okay, so thorough documentation means like detailed description of different code samples so that the developers can understand, okay, this code is used for login button, this code is used for registration function, this code is used for search option, so that they can, instead of writing the code by themselves, they can use those code samples and in the application, and they can make the application functionality. Okay, will not negatively affect the mobile device battery, CPU, or data consumption. So it will not affect the mobile device battery, like we are using the mobile. So the SDK should not have any negative impact on the mobile battery, like when we are using the SDK. So means it should not affect the battery, like maybe our mobile battery down very fast. CPU or data consumption. So whatever the data we are using, it should not affect that data. Okay, it is also important to consider the fact that some SDKs will have agreements or rules that have to be acknowledged and submitted before use. They can also be subject to a license agreement. For example, an SDK with the appropriate license cannot be used for the development of open source software. Similarly, an SDK with a general public license cannot be used for developing proprietary apps. So, SDKs also have the agreements, license agreement. Okay, like whenever, for example, whenever we are going to install any software in our, you can say, computer. Okay, so they give us the like license agreement, we have to check that box and then we can continue. So same like that, SDKs also have the license agreement, and there are two examples for these license agreement. Which one? First one is proprietary license and other one is general purpose license. Okay, so proprietary license cannot be used for development of other open source software. Open source software means like everyone can use those software, and a general public license cannot be used for development of proprietary apps. Proprietary apps means like apps are specifically designed for specific businesses, and they are not for general purpose. They are specific for some organization, and only those organizations are allowed to use those applications. Okay, so do you have any question in this slide?
No, miss.
Okay, so how an SDK benefits businesses? Now we have to check the benefits of the SDKs. Providing a software development kit can provide several advantages for businesses. Uh, these are some of the benefits for our application. So first of all, more marketplace. Okay, having an SDK can integrate easier with customers' existing tech stack. This can make it easier to market your SDK, close deals, and shorten the sales cycle. So when we have SDKs available, we can easily integrate them with existing customers, and then we can market our things and we can close the deals. For close the deals means like we have uh, some clients and we have deal with, and we have win the client, and we have completed the agreement with them. Then faster development, and SDK can make software development more efficient as developers often do not have the time to code every little thing from scratch. The SDK can provide the tools so they don't have to start from scratch on every piece of the application. So means like it once it has the available code samples, we don't need to write the thousand lines of code again and again for little things. Like we can take the code from the SDK and then we can use them in the code. So there are different libraries, different options, like different you can say functions which are enabled in the SDK, and we can just use those samples and we can add our functionality and then we can complete the application. We don't need to make the function again and again, and we don't need to add them by ourselves. Okay, so creating a software development kit for your product can help to bridge the gap with the customer's app and free the developer's time up for actual app creation instead of code of each aspect of functionality. This can help get the app to market faster. So once we create software development kit for our product, okay, so it make a bridge with the customer and the app, and customer can use the application. Okay, definitely when we have the application for our product. Okay, so we don't need to use laptop. Okay, we cannot bring laptop everywhere, but the mobile we can use it and we can take it with us anywhere. So once we have the application, so customer anywhere in the world, customer can log into the application and see the products, and through this way we can market our product more efficiently and effectively to the customer, and we can have the more sales. Then we have increased reach. The more value our product and subsequent SDK have for interoperability, the more exposure we will get as more tools will be looking to integrate with our product. So it increase our reach. Like maximum people can use our product and we can have more profit margin. Okay, then risk control SDK gives you the control to ensure that critical functions are protected and remain temper-free. It also gives you the ability to determine how your product integrate with other apps and how the user interface will look. So it provides a control to your application so that you can change the interface. Okay, you can if you think that this is not working well, you can modify the interface and we can modify the functionality so that we can like we think from the customer's perspective, so that when the customer is using the application, so how he or she will feel while using the application. So we have to add the functionalities and you can say interface of the application as of the customer perspective. Okay, SDKs versus APIs. So what are the differences between SDK and the APIs? A software development kit provides the toolkit for building an app. Okay, it provides a toolkit like in which we have different tools which we can use for building an application. Which often includes APIs. Okay, an API is a type of interface that allows different applications or software to interact with others. In short, the API help different apps to communicate with each other. Okay, so APIs are as used as a bridge with different applications. So, for example, here we can take an example of Google Maps. Okay, so in the you can say, for example, if we take an example of InDrive application. Okay, in the InDrive application, they don't have the actual map within the application. They use the Google Map API to link with the application, and whenever the user or driver want to go to some location, they can just go through the location and they can use them. So this is done through Google API, Map API. So we in the InDrive they are using the API as a bridge for checking the location. Okay. So next we have, while the SDK has an all-purpose function of providing programs and tools for the creation of an entirely new app, the API has only one function. Okay, so in the SDK we have all-purpose functions which provides the program and tools for the creation of entirely like full complete application, but API has only one functionality, only one function, which is to allow communication between apps. Like it only allow communication between different apps. We can communicate through one application to another using APIs. Okay, so in the SDK can contain API and API does not contain SDK. Okay, so this is one thing. Like in the SDK we can have the API, but API don't contain SDKs, and API is a specific tool while an SDK is the entire toolkit. Okay, so API is the just one tool, and SDK is the entire tool.